Actually allow your mind and your brain to breathe, start just coming in and just flowing in. This is called a spiritual download. It comes from your spiritual library that is inside of your mind and in the universe. The universe will literally give you downloads, and the more you believe in them, the more you accept the downloads, and the more you bring the downloads into real life, meaning you put them on paper, the more you'll get. And they will help all different walks. The main walks of life right now I'm talking about is writing and being a writer and being an author. And a lot of the time, the thing I've learned about a lot of authors, whether it's the god of anime, whether it's Tolkien who created the Lord of the Rings, whether it's the people at Marvel, the people at DC, is they allow their minds, and Oda from One Piece, they allow their minds to endlessly be imaginative, and they give themselves freedom to write whatever they desire. See, that people have is they try to find all of these rules that they need to follow, which actually blocks their spiritual download. When you go and you look at all these different YouTubers telling you how to write a story, and about 98% of them have not written anything besides scripts for their videos to tell you how to write, that's when you realize that it's better to follow yourself and follow your own mind and follow your own path. Sometimes when you try to walk away, and that's mentally, you actually mess up your brain. You genuinely mess up your brain chemistry. And I know this from experience because I've looked at everybody else's path so much. Like I research so much to where I have a lot of brain fog and a thing I call poopy brain, where it's like you're researching so much, your brain doesn't know how to take it all in, and you can't really explain it very well because you're not studying correctly. But the best really is something, keep reading something, but then give your brain a break. It's a healthy balance. Writing is literally just letting yourself be free. You look at people like Terry Pratchett, who wrote Discworld. He allowed his brain to be free. He wrote how he wanted to write. And that's another thing. Write how you want to write. If you want to write half of your story like a novel, and the other half you write kind of like a screenplay, there is no actual blockage realistically. It's all in your mind. You're making up a bunch of rules for yourself. That's actually why we don't usually grow nowadays, is we put too many rules on everything. We put too many expectations on everything. Oh, you have to follow these 70 rules if you want to get this outcome. But sometimes following a bunch of rules actually messes up your outcome. You know what I'm saying? When I started following rules to write, I started writing more pages. I started creating more characters. My spiritual download came quicker. You know, I was able to put more things down on paper. I was able to relax more when I stopped thinking so hard about that stuff. And of course, you still get inspiration from like your dreams. You get inspiration from your favorite books and movies and TV shows and whatnot. You know, you might be obsessed with Dune, or you might be obsessed with Star Wars. You might be obsessed with Lord of the Rings, or you might be obsessed with Invincible, or you might be obsessed with Spider-Man, or you might be obsessed with all the different types of sci-fi movies they have. And that's perfectly fine because I love sci-fi movies. But you want to give your brain, you know, relaxing time from all of that and allow your brain to connect things together. You know, we have a thing called logic, we have a thing called common sense, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you have a thing in the background, which is your daydreaming, which is literally your spiritual download that basically gives you all the tools you need to be good at stuff. But a lot of the time people don't use it. Even when it's like trying to talk to a woman, you might have got a daydream, like a spiritual download that told you exactly how to talk to this woman, and it might have worked, but you didn't use it because you were too nervous or anxious. And it actually ruined you from being able to get this woman, but you could have got the woman that you wanted if you would have just did it the way that it literally is in your mind. Because we always have the tools to do the things we want. We just don't use the tools a lot of the time. You know, it's like even with writing, you know, realistically, if you just keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, you can go back and edit, you know what I'm saying, and do the punctuation correctly and get somebody to edit your writing for you later on. But the main focus is just getting it on the dang paper or typing it on the dang computer. That's it. But most people don't do that. Instead, they're like waiting. They're like, oh, I'll write a little bit right now, but let me sit here. Let me worry about the punctuation. Let me worry about typing it this way or typing it that way. It's like, no, just allow yourself to write. Just write. Stop worrying about the outcome so much. Stop worrying about it being perfect so much and just write what you want. For example, Dragon Ball Z is one of the best series of all time to most people, anime wise, right? But some of the writing can be questionable or not really make sense, when it gets to like the Buu Saga, right? But it's like everything in the Buu Saga is extremely enjoyable to read still. I mean, to watch. Well, to read in the manga, yes, but to also watch on TV. Like, I literally love everything about the Buu Saga, but there are so many people that can tear it apart and tell you why it's bad. But technically, writing is subjective, So it's like if you're sitting there enjoying the whole arc, it clearly must be good at writing something, And I'll make a video. I already made a video a long time ago breaking down the Buu Saga, but I'll do it again on this channel because I think that's on my other channel. But that's all I have to say for right now when it comes to writing. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me, whatever. It is what it is.